Debits and credits are the secrets of understanding and mastering the whole double entry system. So it seems fitting to revisit them to ensure that you understand their role in the accounting process. In this video, we will also know about the meaning of normal balances and contra-accounts and how they fit into trial balance and financial statements preparation. This is Accounting Zero to Hero. We are here to help you understand the fundamental accounting concepts through simplified technical discussions and practical applications of the accounting standards. All of this to help you go from zero to hero. Now let's go back to the video. We can safely say that debits and credits serve as the backbone of the whole accounting process. They're literally everywhere. And if you want to master basic accounting, you need to fully understand how debits and credits work. You will see them in the journal entries. You will see them when you post the journal entries to the ledgers or the T accounts. You will see them in the trial balance after you have summarized the T accounts. Interestingly, you will not see them directly in the financial statements. But since your balance sheet and income statement are coming from your trial balance, you can imagine that the financial statements are composed of debits and credits at a granular level. If you look at the dictionary, debit means an entry recording a sum owed, listed on the left-hand side or column of an account. And credit means an entry recording a sum received, listed on the right-hand side or column of an account. It's pretty clear for me that if you try to understand the first part of the definitions, it will confuse you even more. For me, a better way of thinking about it is just remembering that debit is the left side and credit is the right side, and more importantly, understanding the effects of these left and right sides on the elements of the financial statements. In the journal entry creation and the posting process, the debits and credits simply either increase or decrease an account depending on the element on which they belong to. Only two elements are increased by a debit, assets and expenses, and the rest are increased by a credit, the liability, equity, and income. The opposite is true for each element. If they are increased by a debit, they are decreased through a credit. And if they increase through a credit, they decrease through a debit. This understanding is important because it helps you create more effective journal entries even for the most complicated transactions. The role of debits and credits in the posting process is linked to the concept of normal balances. We are including this discussion because understanding normal balances will help you review your trial balance better to ensure that everything is in order and everything is posted correctly. We learned that the accounts or account ledgers can either have a net debit or a net credit balances. But you have to remember that the net balance of an account, either debit or credit, depending on the type of account we are talking about, will have the tendency to be always debit or always credit. This expectation is what we call the normal balance of the specific account. But how do you know what is the normal balance of an account? It is simply the side where the account is increased. So for assets and expenses, the normal balance is debit. And for liabilities, equity and income, the normal balance is in credit. If you see any diversion from expectation, then there is a potential mistake or maybe a transaction that you need to investigate further. For example, in the case of cash, it doesn't make sense for us to disburse more cash than what we currently have. So in case your cash has a net credit balance, this clearly is an abnormal balance that needs to be investigated or explained or possibly corrected, because it means that you've spent more than the cash that you actually have. Does this rule come without any exceptions? Of course not. One main thing that comes to mind are the special kind of accounts that we call contra-accounts. Contra-accounts, as the name implies, are accounts within an element that has a normal balance that effectively decreases that element. Hence the term contra, which is actually a Latin word that means against. It means that contra-asset accounts increase through a credit. A contra-liability account increases through a debit. And similarly, a contra-equity account increases through a debit as well. Contra-income account increases through a debit, and contra-expense accounts increase through credits. This automatically follows that the normal balances of contra-accounts are the opposite of the element in which they fall under. Contra-accounts are special because they are a bit clingy. They attach themselves to specific accounts because they are in some way connected to these accounts. Let's take a look at a few examples. A perfect example of a contra-asset account is the accumulated depreciation of buildings. The building account is carried at cost for monitoring purposes, and any depreciation is recorded in a separate account through the contra-account. In the balance sheet, the building may be presented at net amount, with the breakdown only disclosed in the notes, since the balance of the accumulated depreciation is in credit. Effectively, it decreases the building cost, and deducting it from the cost shows the carrying amount of the building after the depreciation. An example of a contra-equity account are treasury shares. We also have sales discounts for contra-revenue and purchase discounts for contra-expense accounts. The nature of normal balances and contra-accounts, coupled with a solid background on debits and credits, will help you understand the trial balance a little bit better. It helps you spot mistakes in the journal entries. It helps you identify weird or unusual transactions, or just improve your understanding of the financial statements in general. So that's it for the video. I hope you are able to get something out of this. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at contact@accountingzerotohero.com or even through the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be updated of similar accounting content. See you!